marks it executable and jumps into it, and that section of memory contains cmd.dll. So you get a command prompt loaded inside the context of Excel. So I basically took Didler Stevens' stuff. I have my own code signing certificate. I signed all his macros, and I created this tool called OfficeCat, which I gave to this Egyptian dude. And basically, it's the Excel file. It's the example of using an Excel file to basically escape out of a Kiosk environment. You just open it up, click, get it, open command line, wait a few seconds, yeah, then a command prompt pops up. So this is an example of using a relatively innocent file type to escape out of an environment. The fourth thing I do is I look for registered URI protocol handlers. So I look for things like mail to, call to, HTTP shell. I try and use a URI handler to spawn another application. That application that I spawn, maybe that has a common dialog, maybe that has a way of opening a file, maybe that has a way of escaping the environment. I also look for any internal URI handlers that the Kiosk software might have. So is there an admin : //? Things like Site Kiosk have their own SK admin URI handler, where you can access an administrative interface. Then I try and install my own browser add-ons, my own browser plugins. So iCat has Java, ActiveX, clip1s. Yeah, I got all sorts of things. Now, iCat 1 and 2 was full of all these add-ons. I had so many cool little nifty plugins, and all of them were unsigned because I don't have a co-signing cert. And the vendors saw this as a great opportunity to fuck with me. So they basically blocked any unsigned plugins from being installed on any kiosk. Like, well, clearly, this evil hacker can't afford to buy a code signing certificate. So I set up a big banner like on iCat saying, donate, please donate, I need a code signing certificate. It turns out hackers are really fucking cheap because I got maybe about $12. Like, oh man, seriously. But it was actually a kiosk vendor who contacted me. And I said, look, maybe we can do a partnership here and I'll tell you some problems wrong with your software. In return, you give me enough money to buy a code signing cert. So I helped them secure their software. I got a code signing cert, fucked all the other vendors. Yeah, so so now you'll see that all my plugins, all my tools, all of my files, absolutely everything I have been signed by ShinySoft Limited. So this basically gives you the best possible chance of getting your add-on or your plugin installed in the kiosk. The sixth thing I found was actually it's easy just to crash the fucking kiosk. Because when you crash the kiosk environment, guess what happens? You get to the desktop. I was like, wow, this is really fucking easy. All I have to do is create an unhandled exception in a browser. Well, that is really damn trivial. It's very, very easy. So Flash, PDF, I mean, how many people have ever had a browser crash on them, right? I mean, it's not difficult. And it's very, very easy to pop out of a kiosk using this trick. So I call this emo kiosking. Now the seventh trick I find, usually once I've popped shell on a kiosk, I try and hack the Win shell itself. So Win shell hacking is essentially trying to manipulate the GUI environment that Windows has shown me. So when you are using a Windows desktop, obviously the windows you see are not all the windows that are available on that desktop. A lot of windows are marked WS visible equals false. Right? And you might have some really interesting windows here. You might have like admin windows. You might have backup software that's running. You might have tools running in the sys tray, which you can't see, but they're still there. So I've developed a whole lot of tools which basically allow you to make windows visible. Cool things called like make visible, right? Win spies. You click buttons, more windows appear, use those windows to escape. All right, so what's new in iCat 4? So firstly, I've been finding that a lot of kiosks these days are deploying more and more SRP. SRP, group policy, and app locker, really trying to restrict, like you cannot run cmd.exe or any binary signed by Microsoft. So I was like, okay, all right, how can I get around this? How can I defeat this? So what I did was I wrote a little tool which traversed the entire Windows file system and heuristically looked for any calls checking local group policy or checking SH is restricted. And if it finds that, it nops it out, or it patches it out, all right? So this basically gave me about 100 binaries out of Windows which do not validate local group policy, which is really fucking handy, right? I then took all of these binaries and I re-linked them, all right? So by re-linking them, I'm going to bypass AV. The executable now looks noticeably different. Okay, so 2 down. Then I signed it with my own code signing certificate. So it's no longer signed by Microsoft. So if you have an SRP policy which says block Microsoft, well, it's not signed by Microsoft. So 3 down. And I'm basically left with a nice little executable that you can run that will just work. It won't validate anything, nothing blocks it, and it just works. So iCat's now full of this stuff. Yeah, so there you go, there's an example. Unlocked cmd.exe signed by ShinySoft. I discovered that sometimes there are files on Kiosk that you want to view. Sometimes you want to view like creditcards.txt you find on a Kiosk. The only problem is like they've removed Notepad. There's no text editor, you can't spawn Notepad. So I thought, well, why don't you just upload the file to me and I'll reflect the contents back to you. So you select the file, you say, oh, I want to view this file, use the file reflection trick of iCat, and it'll send you back the file contents, so then you can look at it. So this is pretty handy for config files, particularly kiosk config.cfg kind of thing that contains admin password equals. A very easy way of retrieving information. Now, registry files, system config files, yeah, it's a pretty handy trick. Then I decided it would actually be really handy just to wrap Metasploit around this entire thing. Like, what the hey, I mean, Metasploit can help me. So I set up my own modification of browser autopwn called iCat autopwn, which basically, one click, and it uses a download and exec payload, and that download and exec payload will then try and spawn shells and privesc and spawn shells. So basically, you click, and then a whole lot of fucking shells appear, is what this boils down to. But it's fully Metasploit on the back end. Now, this is handy when you have commercial kiosks shipping with Flash 6, which came out in 2004. This was like an up-to-date kiosk product that I found. So I mean, shit like this, it's incredibly easy to Metasploit. Now, I was out drinking with some of my buddies, some of my colleagues, and they said, Paul, iCat's really fucking awesome. However, there's way too much clicking. I have to do too much work. You know what you need? You need one fucking button. And that button is pwn. I'm like, you know what, man? You're right. You're really right. So I kind of scripted and automated everything. So I've got this little page that'll basically detect what the kiosk is, finds what's installed, and it says, okay, well, you want the .NET exploits, you have Java, so I'll give you Java, and I'll throw you at Metasploit for good luck. So it's even more like one click and a million fucking shells appear. It tries absolutely everything. Yeah, my best ideas always come after drinking. Okay. So enough talking, right? This is a hacker conference, so we are going to hack some kiosks. We're going to be hacking 4 different kiosks. These are the latest versions of these kiosks. These kiosk vendors, they've patched their stuff, they've fixed their stuff. We're going to be hacking Kiosk Logic's NetStop, which is very common in Vegas. Not that I promote kiosk hacking. Web Converger, which is a Linux-based open source kiosk, just so I can show you guys that Linux products are not more secure than Windows, and that you can still hack Linux. We're going to hack MyCafe Cup, which is one of the most popular in Europe. If you guys ever visit European internet cafes. And then finally, we're going to hack Morphix, which is another open source Linux kiosk. And of course, we're going to do this all live, unrehearsed. There's no videos. We're just going to fucking hack some stuff. Alrighty. So security cons, I've always been told that before you do a live demo, you have to sacrifice a virgin. This, luckily, is very easy at a security conference. Alrighty, so this is my standard XP desktop environment. I'm going to run up the Kiosk program. Right, anyone here recognize this UI? You seen this around maybe? Right, I'll get my $5, put it into the machine. I'm going to surf the internet, fire up the web. Cool. Now I heard about this cool site, icat.ha.ckd.net. Oh, sorry, this site's not allowed. So this was the first thing that this vendor did. He was like, well, screw Paul Craig. I'm just going to block icat.ha.ckd.net. So, well, I said, oh, screw you. I'm going to set up a DNS wildcard. So basically anything.ha.ckd.net goes to iCat. Woo! Simple stuff, simple stuff. Okay, here we are at iCat. This is it. So the first thing I really want to see is, okay, what's installed? What's my Kiosk platform? All right, so detect all my applications. So this uses a bunch of different tricks to basically figure out what's installed. Okay, it's told me I have NetStop Pro Kiosk, I have ActiveX, Java, the .NET CLR is installed, and I have clip1 support. Clip1 is kind of kind of a funny thing. Most people don't really know what clip1 is. Essentially, clip1 is being able to deploy a .NET application through a .application file, which will get picked up by the CLR if you have it installed. So if you have the .NET framework or the CLR installed on your computer, then you can run clip1's applications. I also have Windows Media Player, NetMeeting. Yeah, it's detected Microsoft .NET Framework 1 and 2, MSN Messenger, and Movie Maker. Okay, all right. Let's start from the top. Common dialogues. Okay, so can I get to a file open dialog? Okay, this function not supported, security reasons. Can I get to a file print dialog? Okay, I can get to a file print dialog. Can I add a printer? Add a printer. Okay, so I'm starting to trying to enumerate all my windows, figure out what I can do. So I can add a network printer. Well, I need to get to a print to file would be the best way. But you can see it's been grayed out. They've tried to disable this. So actually, the print dialog here, we can't get to any common or good common dialogues. File save as dialog? No, can't do that. All right, can I get any URI handlers to pop up? Can I use call to? Okay, so I can get net meetings to spawn. Okay, that's handy. Can I place the call? What about HCP? Hey, HCP spawns. Well, that makes it too easy, right? Using command prompt. So really, the only thing the Kiosk vendor did here was that they blocked icat.hackd on that. But no. This isn't shell. As we can see, the command prompt has been disabled by our administrator. So they're using disable CMD, which is the local group policy to block me. So we haven't won yet. Don't get too excited. But we're getting close. Okay. Can I download a tool? Because I've got my own command prompt. And I download CMD. Oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah. So unfortunately, they're not nice enough to give me commercial versions of their software. All right. Okay, we can't download things either. Okay, all right. So I know I had .NET installed. Let's just try and run my sign clip1 tool. Can I do this? Okay, tick. Launching application. The second I see launching application, I've won. Okay, we wait. This downloads about 10.5 meg of binaries, tools. It basically downloads all of the iCat suite, everything inside of it, directly into the kiosk. And then we're going to see if we can bypass the local group policy so we can get that command prompt up. Okay, are you sure you want to install this? Yes. Installing. Okay, awesome. Now I have iCat clip1. Okay, I want user shells. Okay. All right, so this tried to do Mike Rusinovich's SRP bypass. So we might have bypassed SRP, but local group policy stopped us, okay? This tried to spawn local CMD.exe. That didn't work. This tried to spawn different version of CMD. That didn't work. And this one, well, that worked. Okay, so now I have shell. Awesome, okay. But, I'm Paul Craig. I don't want fucking userland shell. I can't do anything in this. What I want is system. So that's simple. I just click spawn system shell. Okay. Nope. Let's try that again. Kidding me. That's what we get for doing live demos. So that was using Tavis's NTVDM allowed trick to spawn a local shell. That actually usually works. That's the first time that's blue screened. If you guys are interested, I can show you this again. See, since I've run it, it's actually now installed it, so I can just run this. We'll just try one more time. Task manager, process, and we should see icat.exe is now running a system. Okay, so imagine we're still in the kiosk environment. I know a system. Yay.